Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial on Blender video editing tips for beginners. So if you're a beginner and then if you want to start your journey with Blender video editing, right? So this guide will help you to edit like a pro in no time. Let's just quickly jump in. So the first step is setting up your workspace. So let's just open up Blender video editor. I'll just show you how to set up workspace. So by default, right, this is your view when you open up Blender video editor. So I just want to show you how to navigate to Blender video editing workspace. There are multiple ways, so I'll just cover two ways as of now. So there is one way, right? If you click on this video editing, right, so it will open up Blender video editing workspace. And there is another way. So if I click on this plus button, right, and then go to video editing, and then there is a video editing. So if I click on this, right, so this is your video editing workspace. So if you're new to, right, so just by default this is the view which you will get. So now you can align these panels based on your need if you want, right? And then you can just increase and decrease based on whatever it is there. And then this is a sequencer plane. This is a file system folder, like if you want to then, and this is preview, this is settings, and then this is toolbar related to sequencer. So this is, I've covered a video separately on this particularly, but this is just top 10 tips, right? I just wanted to show you. So let's just now learn how to set up a default workspace. So what you have to do is, right, I want this video editing workspace as a default, right? So what you have to do, you have to go to files, default, and then you have to click on save startup file here. So once you click on this, right, and then type again, this pop-up comes up, save startup file. So I'll click on save startup file. So if you see, right, now startup file has been saved. So now let's just close this. Now if I try to open Blender video editing, right, so I'm just opening that software. If you see, right, by default in a background I see Blender video editing workspace, it is getting open. So you can click anywhere. So by default it is already open to you, so you can just quickly in no time, right, just import your video files or files and then start working on it. If you don't want this one, right, video editing as a default workspace, so how to do it, I'll just show you quickly that as well. So you have to go to files and then defaults, load factory setting. So you have to click on this and click on again load factory settings. So once you click on this load factory settings, right, what you have to do again is go to files and then save startup file. So again then save startup file, then it is saved. And if I close now, right, and then reopen, so this time, right, it should have the default workspace. So this is what the default view it was there. So this is how you can do quickly set up and reset default factory settings. So the next tip is, right, which we will try to learn is using proxies for smooth playback. So let's just open up a quick folder and then just I'll import any video here quickly and just show you. So what I meant to say is, right, so if I try to import and then select these and type shift S to align this to playhead, right, so once I import it, if you see building proxies, it is trying to build the proxies. Let's just wait for some time till it builds the proxies and then I'll just let you know. For now I'll pause the video. So now proxy rebuild has been completed. So by default, right, if I play the video, right, if you see, if it is a high resolution video, right, it's playing here smoothly. It some lags sometimes. So now this is playing because it is not that much of high quality content, but it's still majority of the times, right, if you see, it is getting lagginess here. Always, right, try to reduce the proxy. So I will show you what you have to do is, right, just hover your mouse here and type N, and then once you type N, right, there is a default view you have to go, and then there is an option like by default, right, proxy render size is set to 100. So what you have to do, you have to reduce it to 25%. By doing this, right, the preview, right, what you will be having, it will be very much smooth. So I've set it to 25 and then I'll just select this prefetch frames as well. So this will prefetch the forward frames already so that it will be easier for previewing the content. I've done this one and then I'll type N again to just hide that menu, and then here also I'll just go here. You have to go to proxy and then just what you have to do, you have to select here. By default, it both have selected 25 and 100. So I'll just unselect this 100. I'll select these two strips, set selected proxies. Then I'll just select as 25%. Then click on OK and then rebuild the proxy and timecode. So once I click, right, so by default, right, it is already, there is one more rebuilding proxy menu comes. It is very faster, so you are not seeing that. So if you see it, if I click multiple times, it says that building proxy because it is very fast, right, it already built that. So now if I play the video, right, let me just play and show you. So if you see it, it is very smoothly running. So and then quality might have reduced here, but in the actual rendering, right, you will see it is very actual quality of the video. So that's what I just wanted to let you know. working with proxies. And then if you see, right, FPS is getting in white, and then this is very smoothly playing. The next tip, right, which we'll be learning is organizing your timeline. Keep your timeline organized by renaming and color coding the strip. So suppose you are working with multiple clips, right? So let's just import couple of clips here. What I'll type, right? I'll type home button to align it this preview sequencer whole clip, and then I'll just go to any of this and then just try to import a couple of them. So I'll just import this. Maybe I'll import any other stuff as well. Import maybe this. So suppose you are working with multiple stuff, right? And then you have to be organizing your clip properly. So let's just rebuild the proxies, and then suppose there are audios and videos, right? So by default, right, this is the video clip color and this is the audio clip color. So if you want to color code, right, you can do that. So but just let's try to see if something, right? So this particular is about shift. So I can rename this channel as shift here to understand what is this particular. By looking at this, right, you will get. Let me just type home button again, and then if this is what is this video about, beach, right? So what I can do, I'll just rename this as beach, and then this video is of boy. So this is very useful. So if you have multiple clips, right, and then by looking into channel itself, you will get to know like this is of boy, and this is of a ship, and this is of a beach. This is one thing. So organizing a better way. And then there is another option, like if you want to color code, right? So what you have to do, you have to just go to this, select this particular clip, and then go to this option, and then there is a different colors, so you can color code them. Suppose you want to have different colors for this particular thing, right? So I can just make it as red, and then for audio I can have one color, maybe something like green for all the audios, right? I can have this green like this. I can just organize in better way, and then maybe this different color like that. So this is very easy when you deal with multiple clips and then you want to organize and try to learn this initial stuff itself. So the next tip which we'll be talking about is keyboard shortcut. If you are new, right, or maybe you have already working with video editing, right, but learning keyboard shortcuts is very useful, and then it will very much optimize your editing efforts, and then it will speed up your editing process. As on you go, right, as on you learn video shortcuts, right, it will be very easier for you. So I've created an entire series around I think 90 plus video editing shortcut for Blender. So I'll put out the link in the description for those. If you want to learn, right, I would recommend just go through that or complete series of video editing shortcuts, and then just try to learn as much as you can and try to implement those when you do editing, right? So this will be very useful, and then it will optimize very much definitely for you. So the next tip, right, what we'll be learning is adjusting strip properties. So Blender strip properties allow you to fine tune your clips. So what I mean to say is, right, so suppose this is strip panel, right, and then if you just click any of the clips, if you don't see this one, right, so what you have to type, it is available, but if you're not able to see, right, if I type n, right, it goes off. If I type n again, right, it comes up. So make sure that your mouse icon is here, and then you have to type, otherwise it will not work. So if I go here and then type n, right, it will not work. Just make sure that is one thing. There is a different options which are available in the property section. So if you go right in transform, there are different like composition, transform, crop, all those different options are there. So like if you want to position your video left, right, so you can do like this from here. And then if you want to scale, right, maybe just you can say zoom in, maybe scale on the x-axis, scale on y-axis, you can do that. Let me just undo it. So there are lots of options, rotations. If you want, right, you can just rotate. Let me just click and then just try to rotate like so. Like this, you can rotate based on your need. If you want to have mirror effect, right, you can just make sure that. So if I do right, so it will be in a different like that. So this is a mirror effect. So if you want on y-axis, right, it will be just mirror effect on the. So let me just undo this stuff. So there are lots of other options which are available. Crop, there is a stroke, color if you want to add saturation, right? And then there's different options which are there. Try to work with this and try to understand what all those things. And then there's different options like modifiers where you can add color balance, brightness, all those things are available. Proxies, I think I've covered proxies already. So all those things are there, like adjusting strip properties and knowing more about the strip properties, right? So this is one more tip. Next tip, right, which we'll be learning is audio editing basics. So usually, right, so if you want to work with audios, right, so there are a couple of things which you need to be worry about, right? So this is the audio clip. Suppose I've highlighted, right, all these three with the green color, right, audio strips. Normalizing volume and adjusting that in the time bar, right? So if I click on this, right, actually this panel available for this clip, okay, and then you can just reduce the noise, increase the noise based on that, and then there is option like mono, what you can do, and then there are different option available. It opens up for that, and then where that particular location is there, right, and then this is what is sample rate for it. All those things will be there, and then there, if I click on this particular clip, right, and then if I go to playback, right, there is an option like play audio. If it is disabled, make sure that you enable it, because it will not play if I disable it. So there is option like always try to use sync to audio, so try to use that like that, or frame dropping also you can use it. So just make sure that these are the things you need to worry about audio stuff. So it's just nothing but always try to use sync to audio or frame dropping. I usually use sync to audio, so this is what I want to show you with audio stuff. So the next tip, right, which is very useful in video editing, right, so working with speed control. Speed control, right, it is very useful. So sometimes you want to have a particular portion to be increase the speed, and then you want to have someone to reduce some portion to reduce, right? So that's what it is very necessary in a video editing store. So you have to just make sure that how to do that. I've created already video on that speed control, so I'll put that link also in the description. So how to do, I mean, there are different ways, right? If you want to apply speed control on multiple clip, right, so what you can do, you can just apply like speed control, or this, or you can just use combine all those clips, and then control G is to combine. So control G for type, right, so it combines into one strip, and then you can apply speed control onto this clip. Let me just try to do. So if now you can apply speed control, it will apply for all the clips. And then if you want to do it for single clip, right, I've just covered in a different video, I'll not cover here, but just try to explore on that and try to learn initial days only. That is very useful. So the next tip, right, which you all need to focus on, right, the color balance, blur, and adding overlays. So that is very useful. So these are very important. So let me just undo these things first. Learning about color balance, right? So suppose if you want to add any color balance, so if I go here and then go to strip option, right, and then there is a option here saturation. So by default, if I increase, right, so if you see, right, it got changed the color. If I reduce, right, it will be a black and white kind of thing. So you can just play around this. So if you want to add some more bit of colors, right, you can just play around this. And then there is other option like in modifier, right, there are different option. All these, right, majority of them I have covered in a different video. I'll try to put that link into that, so I'll not go to this thing. So if I just select this hue color, right, so wherever the blue color is, right, just wanted to show one stuff, so it goes off the, I can remove the blue color from a video. So if you want to remove any of the color, right, or if you want to add more color to it, so you can just use this hue color. So let me show you. So if you want to increase the blue color, right, you can do it from here as well. This is what there are different options, adding overlays, all those things. I've already created all those topic videos, so I'll try to put into the description so you can go through them. So the next tip which I want to let you know is, right, using markers. So suppose you have been working for some time, and you know some editing still have to do maybe in particular sections of particular clip, right, so you might forget very easily. So what you have to do is, right, you have to, there's a way you maybe remember, right, using markers. So I'll show you how to have the markers put. Suppose maybe let me just show you. So suppose here, right, so from here to here, or maybe from here, right, what I want to have, I want to speed up my video, but I want to do it later. So what you can do is that to remind it, right, so you can have a marker. So what I will type, right, I'll just keep my playhead here and type em. So if I type em, right, this button opens up. So what you have to do, you have to click on this and type add speed. So you can add your message here. By doing this, right, so you will know. So you can just this particular position, right, so I have to add speed later. So suppose in this section, right, maybe I have to cut here. Just assume that I want to do a cut, but I'll do it later. So what I'll type again em, and then there is one more marker comes up, and then just what I'll do, I'll just click on this particular stuff and then cut this section. So like this, right, you can add your markers so that before finalizing your rendering, right, so you can just come and just do these modifications and then align it properly and then render, maybe just work on it later kind of stuff. So this is very useful That's one thing. And then one more thing, right, which I wanted to highlight is, right, if you want to rename the markers, right? So suppose if you want to rename again, double click on this to rename any of the marker again. So if you some things if you don't want, right, you can just rename any other stuff. Let's just tell you how to remove this marker. So if I click on this, right, and then try to type delete, it will go off. I select this, try to type X if I type, right, and then it shows me delete marker option. So if I click on delete marker, it goes off. This is how using markers for precision editing very useful when you are working with complex projects. The last tip which I wanted to cover in this section, right, setting proper output settings. Always, right, when you try to render, before rendering, right, you have to go to output sections every time and make sure that you have set up entire stuff properly. So suppose the resolution, right, so this is the output section. If I just want to hover, right, so this shows the output properties. So make sure that your resolution is set properly, frame rate which is very lesser, and then make sure that end frame, right, because if you don't set end frame, right, by default Blender only uses 251 frame, so it will not render out other frames. So suppose, let me just show you, if I select these things, right, or else what you can do, I can type P, and then from here and to here I want to select, right. So this is what it got. The end frame is 1079, so I have to set 1079 end frame so that it renders entire video. So this is one thing every time you have to make sure that you do it. And then if I go to all the sections, right, make sure the output section, if you want to change that, you can change. So every time, right, make sure that the file format, right, it is set properly. So there are different formats. I'll always try to use, if you're working with video, right, I'll use FFmpeg video. And then color management, you can just try to see. And then container, right, you can see the mpeg 4. Based on that you need, I always try to use mpeg 4. And then video codec, you try to use H.264 for smooth video editing rendering process. And then output section, medium use, and then speed, encoding speed, try to use slowest or maybe good. I use good. And then audio, right, what format you want audio, maybe MP3 or always use AAC. These things once you set, right, maybe just cross check before rendering all those things. I would recommend every time, right, cross check this file format. Sometimes, right, it just changes to PNG or maybe a file format, these things JPEG, but when you render it, it will be just images instead of video. So try to always look into all those things. Once when you finalize, right, just click on render and render animation, you have to do it. This is all I want to cover. Top 10 Blender video editing tips. With these tricks, right, you will be editing faster and better in no time. If you find this video helpful, right, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos on Blender video editing tutorial. Thank you all for watching. Bye bye.